Welcome back. I am so happy to have all of my friends here with me today. I have quite a guest for you. Have you ever thought of doing something really crazy? Like going back to school, you have a full-time job and you've got kids, or maybe you want to start a business. You're not exactly sure how, but you have this idea, and so you just kind of jump in. Well, that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today, because my guest today is Krystal Cardona, and she has a brand new children's book. It is I Don't Know How, But I Will. And Krystal, welcome to the show. I am so
Thank
happy
you.
to have you.
I'm excited to be here.
So your book, I Don't Know How, But I Know I Will. Tell me about really what started that whole thing. I mean, what's the premise behind this book? I believe it's geared to 6 to 8 year olds, right?
Right.
But
So
a message for all ages, correct?
it really is geared towards 6 to 8 year olds, but it's a message that we all need to hear. The main message behind the book is you can do absolutely anything that you put your mind to. Um, Regardless of your socioeconomic status, the cards you were dealt, or things that you feel happen to you. If you believe it in your heart, by all means, you can make it happen.
Okay. So was there any one thing? I know I had a little bit of a role in egging you on to do this, but I believe there was something that really got you going, that made you say, you know what, I need to write a children's book. What was that?
Yes. So, really, what got me thinking about this book is my daughter. She's 6 years old, and she just completed kindergarten this past year. And she came home from school one day. She's in a mixed class, so it was kinder, first, and second. And there was this sparkly unicorn book that she had her mind set on reading. And the book was actually geared towards first grade readers. And she came home visibly upset, and, mama bear instincts kicked in. And it's like, whoa, what are we doing here? And she was upset because she wanted to read this book. Some of her other little friends in first and second were reading it, and she couldn't. She was barely learning to read. And she made the comment, I'm just not as smart as them. And in that moment, I reflected back to me as a kid, and the past really 3 years of my life. And I took that as an opportunity to really build the foundation of a growth mindset. And we set goals. The huge thing with her is, you want to do something, you don't know how, but you just can't do it yet. So I really wanted her to understand that even though you can't do something right now, it doesn't mean that you can't. It's just you don't have the tools or that platform yet. So let's build them and let's achieve those goals. And she did. So the end of the year, she was able to read her little unicorn book, and she is just flourishing, but just kind of sitting there looking at her really took me back to me. Let's see, the last, really since 2019, I have gone through a lot of growth, working with you, finding my purpose, the great contemplation of what am I doing with my life? Why am I here? Really kind of drove that message that we all need to hear and be reminded of.
Mm-hmm. And that's that great contemplation for what I've found in my work is your age group and younger. So my millennials and younger groups, really that message of meaning, finding a deeper sense of meaning from what you're doing it's huge. Why do you think that is with your kind of the Gen X and below?
Well, thinking back, 2019, right before the pandemic, I had the perfect life. Really, on paper, I had an amazing marriage. I just had my second child and finished my master's and finally found a dream job in human resources. And, that's what society says you do. You get married, you have kids, you work, you find this career, and here I am. I have all of it, and I wasn't fulfilled. I had this feeling of emptiness. And I remember sitting there just crying. And, I went through postpartum. I had experienced a ton of loss in our family. And I, knew that this couldn't be all there was to life. Is this really it? You work a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, come home, make dinner, extracurriculars, and you're just not happy. You're burnt out. And, you start wondering, is there something wrong with me? So really working to find my purpose was the key to all of that. And I think that's where a lot of our millennials are, a lot of moms, especially like me, where you do everything you're supposed to do, but that feeling that society says you're supposed to have is not fulfilling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think it's really interesting how we get to the place where when people kind of speak that to us, this is what your life is supposed to look like. Mm-hmm. And or predestine your life based on your circumstances. Can you speak to that?
Absolutely. So I grew up in a small rural community, and I remember freshman year of high school. Here I am, excited. I am one of those that are going to push the limits and ask questions. I am curious about everything and anything. I want to learn. I want to grow. And I had asked my English teacher a question, and she looked at me flustered and said, "You are not going to amount to anything. You are going to end up a teen mom, just like your mother." And it was in that moment that you start to wonder, just because this is where I came from, does it mean that that's what's destined for me? And it was in that moment that I told myself, I don't know how, but I know that I am going to graduate college. I am going to make my parents proud, and I am not going to be a statistic. So I did. It took a lot of hard work, but deep in my soul, in my heart, I knew that was something that I wanted bad enough, and I was going to make it happen. All too often, we get those feelings of, gosh, this would be really great. But that fear sets in, and just overcoming that. Don't let fear determine your future. Don't let it steal your dreams. Your dreams were given to you for a reason, and only you. And sometimes other people think those dreams are unrealistic. We've all heard of the saying, big, get your head out of the clouds. Why? As kids, we tell our children, dream big. You can do anything you want to. We were just over the weekend playing with my son, and he said he was Spider-Man and could fly. Okay, yes, you're flying. You're invisible. So just because, we hit a certain age that society says it is no longer okay for you to dream, I don't believe that. You have something in your heart. You were given that dream for a reason. You don't know how you're going to make it happen, but by golly, if you want it bad enough, you will.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think is probably the best advice that you could give to someone who wants to do something what others would deem as crazy, or it's not possible? Tell me about that possibility kind of success sauce for someone.
I would tell them, don't let fear keep you from pursuing your dreams. Make the impossible possible. Surround yourself with people who have those same ambitions, people that believe in you. Remove yourself from the negativity and that toxicity. We unfortunately, as a society, we're burnt out. We're seeing the great resignation right now, and hundreds of thousands of people in the workforce quitting their jobs on the spot. And they don't know what they're going to do, but they know that they're going to do it. Surround yourself with people who care about you and believe in you, and let your imagination run free.
Yeah, I think it's great advice. I know that my coaching clients, for them, they might come to me with wanting to shift careers, and they have zero clue even where they want to go. We align them with their purpose, their passion, so at least they have some sort of direction of what really sets their heart on fire. And then from there, we start looking at different opportunities that may exist that they don't even know. I mean, we don't know what we don't know. So I know when I worked early days on Wall Street, I would have never known that you could become a forensic auditor, that you could do these transformation and turnaround activities, that you could be involved in mergers and acquisitions. These aren't things that we hear in high school and hear from our career counselors. So I think that that's very important, to just have that blank slate and to really tap into what it is that you really want and go for it no matter what. Because I think that this message, I don't know how, but I know I will. I think the key to that title is but I know that I will.
Yeah.
Not I think I will, not I might, but I know that I will. And I think that's really cool. And it's a super powerful message that people really need to hear. And so, I encourage anybody who has little ones in their life, or, as a gift, or if they have children, aunties, uncles, get this book, because I think that all of us need to hear this message. And I think it speaks to me just as much as it speaks to anyone else. And I think for children to understand this from an early age, and this, Krystal, I believe, is what you were talking about with your daughter, the yet part. I don't know how yet. And I think we start with yet on everything. We don't know how to walk, and then we learn to walk, and we fall a lot. And so we don't come out of the womb walking. We just didn't know how yet, and we weren't prepared yet. And I think that that's another piece of that. You're talking about the last 3 years, and maybe there was some preparation along the way during that time. And I'm happy that you're at the place that you are, that you're here speaking out on this, and really helping to motivate and inspire the next generation to believe in the impossible, to pursue the impossible and make it possible. I think that that is a beautiful mission. And tell me what you're cooking up next. I mean, this is a new path for you. And are there more books that we can look forward to, or what have you got going on?
Well, I can tell you that this book is just the tip of the iceberg for me. I am still working on my brand, developing that through the last 3 years. And the great contemplation, I finally figured it out. I figured out my purpose of igniting possibility and connecting communities. And this book is just one of those messages, one of many that so many people, children, need to hear. And I am extremely excited about that. I am currently working on trainings for organizations, as well as schools. It's extremely important to me, you know, as an HR professional. We've seen this time and time again with burnout. And, you know, we get individuals in positions and they, like me, think that, you know, this is the dream job. And somewhere along the way, doing things the way they've always been done, we lose that sense of fulfillment. And by allowing employees and individuals to dream, even in the workplace, imagine the possibilities that would open up.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Allowing employees to chase after their dreams makes them much happier. So if we can get into schools and start teaching this mindset, because really it is a mindset, as a young child, and to have that rooted, that is my main mission. So right. I am extremely
it'll
excited.
Definitely carry on. Yeah. Yes. Sorry. It'll carry on into the workplace is what you're saying. I like that.
Yes.
That carry through someone's life where we teach them young and then it impacts organizations. And really? I just think that that's a really cool legacy.
Yeah. And just allowing individuals to be authentic. You know, you try to be yourself and you get shut down. You know, we see it time and time again. Authenticity is a beautiful thing. We don't always have to agree. Authenticity and curiosity. I always encourage my employees, be curious. It's something that we teach our children, but for whatever reason, we get into the workplace and curiosity is not seen as a good thing. So be curious, be authentic. That's where growth happens. And the future is going to be absolutely amazing. I am excited.
Yeah. And I think that me too. When we can really take what someone else might deem as crazy, that's a crazy idea. I mean, we look at self-driving cars. We look at, Elon Musk's vision is to have clean water and reliable power globally. His vision was not on just building a car, but the batteries and all of that really supports this bigger mission vision of his. And so I think that it is very important to have space for those crazy ideas. And I may not know how, but I know I will. And sometimes that is surrounding myself with people and in the work that you're doing, developing training and curriculum within the school systems, and to even push that out into organizations for the workforce. I think that that's incredibly important to be able to make sure that we do have our head in the clouds, that we are visionary, and that we are allowing that space to have a crazy idea and pursue the crazy idea, even if you have zero clue how you're going to do it. I know we can do this. And I think that builds in resourcefulness. I mean, how many times have people come to your side and helped you when you had zero clue? Right? You never know what's going to happen, what doors are going to open when you throw that crazy idea out there. And so I love that. I do understand. I want to mention that your book is being translated into Spanish.
It is.
And
I will have
I think
a complete Spanish version available on Amazon in the next couple months. I'm super excited about that. Yeah, I'm Latina. First generation, one of the first to graduate college and have formal education. My grandparents were immigrants. They immigrated here from Mexico for that American dream. And it's because of them.
You're living it.
Yep.
You're living it. I love that. Well, thank you so very much for being on today. And I think that everyone will really benefit from the message here. I don't know how, but I know I will. And really taking that to heart to embrace the crazy ideas and to
embrace it. Yes.
And momentum, right? Just do it. Just get
Don't
some sense of direction.
Fear of failure hold you back. Yes.
There we go. I love that. Thank you so very much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
And thank you again, Krystal.